The Apple Watch Series 4 was released in 2018 and was a major redesign for the Apple Watch. Its design is still being used today. Hi, welcome to the TC. My name's David, and today we're going to be taking a look at this, the Apple Watch Series 4 in 2021, and see if it's still worth buying. So I'm going to split this review up into four main categories: the design and display, performance and usability, battery, and finally features. I will also add chapters below so you can skip to whichever section you'd like to see. Starting with the design of the Series 4, it's essentially an aluminum frame with a glass screen on top and a ceramic bottom which houses the heart rate sensor as well as one of the ECG connectors. On the side we have the digital crown, a microphone, and the side button. On the opposite side, we can find the speaker grills. The digital crown on the Series 4 sticks out quite a bit more compared to the older Apple Watch designs, and if you ever wanted to distinguish a Series 4 from like an SE, since they look so similar, the Series 4 actually has a metallic look on the crown itself due to the second ECG connector. So now you can identify Series 4 from an SE. Also differing from past designs, the side button sits flush, from what I presume was changed because people were pressing it while working out, but I still have presses on the crown, so I don't know if that was really effective. The watch itself is now thinner, so it doesn't dig so much into your arm, and the design is more flat. I would akin it to a rock that has been slowly eroded and completely smooth, where the older Apple Watches were more of a boxy and square design. This smoother design reflects back onto its display, which now has curved edges and is 2mm larger on both models of the Series 4 over the older Apple Watch design. This correlates to a body that is relatively the same size, but with a massively larger display. This beautiful OLED display is stretched towards the edges, much more like the newer iPhone designs, and it's extremely clear and easy to read in bright light situations. It goes up to 1000 nits, which is more than enough to see in direct sunlight. Going back to the sides though, the watch also features massive speaker grills, and this correlates to a 50% louder speaker over the previous Series 3, and it actually does get surprisingly loud. Tell me a joke.
How do you keep bacon from curling in the pan? You take away their little brooms.
Now let's take a look at the performance and usability of the watch. The Apple Watch Series 4 sports the S4 chip with the W3 wireless chip. This was the first 64-bit S-series chip in an Apple Watch, and its speed shows. If you didn't know, the Series 5 and the SE actually use a variant of the S4 chip, just with an altimeter, so essentially they've got the same processor and run the same speed. This watch is incredibly quick, and it feels more alike to the iPhone in its speed, so if that's something that you're worried about, don't be. This watch literally flies through anything. Also, being that it has a heart sensor, there are also some nifty features that specifically the Series 4 has that even the new SE doesn't. If you're looking to take an ECG on your watch, using the Series 4 was the first to introduce it, but most people don't know that you can actually use the sensors to get a quicker heart rate reading just by putting your finger on the crown when you're in the heart rate app. The watch switches to the ECG and is able to take a reading every second instead of every 5 seconds. Definitely neat, but the SE can't do that. Sorry, SE. Overall, the Series 4 is incredibly quick, and I don't think speed will be an issue in the future, especially considering a variant of the chip is still being used today in the SE and also with the Series 5 that was just last year. It also includes 16GB of storage space, so it should have more than enough space for tiny-sized apps. Next, let's take a look at the battery life and battery health over time. This particular watch has been used since around late 2019, so it's had its fair share of discharges and charges. This resulted in a battery health now of about 88%, but the battery on the Series 4 has never been an issue for me. It's more than enough to get you through a day, and if you charge it when you go to bed, it'll basically never die on you. I have yet to actually kill the watch in a single day, so that's something to consider. Keep in mind that when you're buying a used Series 4 to take a look at battery health, I would say try to find ones in the 90s and above, just so that you will be safe for a while since battery replacements aren't cheap. Overall, the battery on the Series 4 is really good, and I don't have any complaints there. Finally, I'd like to discuss some of the features of the Series 4. One of the newer features that came with the Series 4 is haptic feedback for the digital crown. When you scroll with it, you'll get little ticks along with a noise that makes it feel mechanical rather than freely spinning. It's a really nice touch and also makes the watch feel more tactile. Also, like I've mentioned before, this was the first Apple Watch to include an ECG, so this allows you to take ECGs on your wrists as well as take heart rate readings quickly. The speakers on the Series 4 are also much louder, and the two grills allow it to sound much fuller compared to older generations, making talking to Siri and taking calls a lot nicer. What's on my calendar for the next 7 days?
Sorry, calendar on Apple Watch only goes out 7 days.
What? This Apple Watch also features 50-meter water resistance, and it has a feature to eject water from the speakers, so you can actually go for a swim with it and have no issues. There's also a lot of safety features for this watch, so for example, there's an audio decibel meter that monitors your environment and warns you if it's too loud, and also introduced with the Series 4 was fall detection, so if you have an older individual using this watch, it will automatically send out an SOS in the case that it detects a fall and that person doesn't respond. If you're looking to change up the look of your watch, the Series 4 supports bands even from the original Apple Watch, as long as you can get the correct corresponding size. The 40mm Series 4 fits the 38mm Apple Watch bands, and the 44mm Series 4 fits the 42mm watch bands, as you can see here. There's plenty of aftermarket bands and cases you can actually also buy, so there's definitely not a lack of accessories for this watch. In terms of other health features, the GPS works pretty great and creates an accurate review of where you've gone and how quickly you've been going in the case of a walk or a run. All of this data gets sent to your activity app on your iPhone and also copies over to your health app so you can review it at a later time. So overall, I'd say that the Series 4 is still worth it in 2021. It basically has all the same things that the Series 5 and 6 has, except for the always-on display and the blood oxygen sensor that the Series 6 has. But if that doesn't matter to you, and you can find the Series 4 for a cheaper price than an SE, it's definitely something to consider, and I would jump on it if it's a good deal. Overall, the Series 4 is worth buying, and like I said, if you can find a good deal, I'd jump on it. I can definitely see this watch receiving a lot of updates over the next few years, so I don't think that speed or updates is going to be a problem for the Series 4. So that's it for today's video. Do you guys use the Series 4? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you have any questions, also let me know too. I'll try my best to answer all the questions. Also, if you liked what you saw, consider subscribing to see more content just like this. Thanks for watching!